The deepest cut in anatomy wasn't made with a scalpel. It wasn't into muscle or fascia or bone. It happened when we began studying the human body in death, because it was the only way we could. From the very beginning, we tried to understand life by examining what was already lifeless. Bodies that no longer moved, breathed, or sensed. And from this very absence, we built a science. The word anatomy comes from Greek, ana meaning up, and tome meaning to cut, literally cutting up. That's how it all began. We learned by dissecting cadavers, dividing the body into systems, naming parts, and classifying structures. We kept digging deeper and deeper and zoomed in further and further, muscle by muscle, nerve by nerve, system by system. And we became more specialized, more precise. But in the process, something was lost: perspective, the relationship between systems, the patterns behind posture, the story behind sensation. And what began as a method quietly became a habit. And what we couldn't see anymore was the human being in full. This separation still shapes how we think. We isolate muscles as if they act alone. We label joints by degrees of motion and ignore the sensations that guide them. We talk about the body and the mind as if they were separate things, but they never were. The psoas doesn't just flex the hip, it also tenses when you feel threatened. The diaphragm doesn't just move with breath, it moves with emotion. Every structure is influenced by how you feel, how you move, how you've lived. And yet, we still debate, now, is this just the mind or is this only about the body? As if those two things were ever truly apart. Anatomy should be alive. It should be breathing, reacting, adapting. It's proprioception, it's regulation, it's behavior shaped through time. It's pain patterns that tell stories. It's posture that echoes memory. And when we ignore that, we don't just miss context, but we also miss the person. The future of anatomy is one that must heal from its deepest cut. The cut that separated life from structure, that reduced the body to what could be seen, measured, and named, but left out what could only be felt and lived. This is where I would love to see anatomy heading in the future, not toward rebuilding what was lost, but toward exploring what has always been connected. To trace the echoes between sensation and structure, to study the reflections between body and mind. Because movement influences mood, emotion shapes posture, perception shifts physiology. If we want to truly understand the human being, we can't keep looking at parts in isolation. The future of anatomy won't come from cutting deeper, but from seeing more clearly, zooming out, connecting systems, following the interplay. A body that's not just organized by function, but animated by the soul.